this. Bro, where's my countdown, man?
We're live. It's on.
Are we live, man? I hate this stupid thing, bro. I don't know how Martin does it. Like, I have no idea. He just like, no, I know it is. He has to fucking produce it, and I don't got that privilege.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's why. But whatever. Like I was saying before, I got really interrupted by the countdown. See, I'm all right. Like, all I talk about is eating ass, but deep down inside, I'm scared, bro. Like, y'all heard it here first, man. It's like one of those things that I feel like, as Ricky Bobby said, if you ain't first, you last. I feel like I'm behind. Before, the trend back in the day was like everybody choking people. You know, it was a
Wait,
trend.
what?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking
I'm
about?
talking about like porn, man. We talking about like in porn. Everyone choking people. Now it's like, hey, if you ain't eating booty, you vanilla. Since when, bro? Since when?
Oh, if you aren't eating booty, you're
Yeah, if you're not, you're vanilla. Yeah. I just fear for our children, bro. They're just gonna be like, like my nephew, bro. It's just gonna be like, hey, yo, have you done this? And I'm like, get out of my face, bro. Like, he was like, oh, you vanilla, bro. I bet you only. I don't know, man. I ain't gonna go that far. It's too early in the day. Welcome to the Unsolicited Counseling Podcast. We're your hosts. I'm your boy Jermaine.
I'm Catherine.
And as you can see, I'm already off the rails. Martin's not here to reel me in when I'm talking about ass eating, but I'm a
I
fraud.
just don't
I'm a
know how we
fraud.
got there. I'm
We got
so
there because we were talking about the flower and the bee. So if y'all haven't had a chance to or even heard about this or whatever, we made an extra short or like a bonus episode on our Patreon. You can see the link in below if you want to see support us. You get the episode. We're gonna have more bonus episodes like that for you guys. But yeah, check it out. See what's all about the flower and the bee. But all in all, what I'm saying is like why is it vanilla if you don't eat butt? I feel like that's like a Christmas thing now. Like, back in the day in the 1920s, like it was like special occasions to give a guy your husband head or your wife head. It was like only on your birthday. Now, no, it's eating butt. And I'm just
Wait,
like,
was it really special occasions only?
yeah, that was the special occasion. That and anal.
Gosh, women had it so easy back then.
Oh no! Oh no! Well, like we said, there's good and bad, and there's extremes and not extremes. But with extremes and good and bads, we're gonna be talking about cults this episode, and specifically, we're gonna be talking about how the American landscape is becoming very cultish. Is that the right word? Like not full on cults. I mean some, but like very like coach like cult cult. I was saying like coach bag cult like, you know. But you mentioned that. How do you come to this? What made you have this thought of like America and cults and stuff like that? Other than the fact all the cults that are popping up that's been happening since Charles Manson, but
New drinking game. You have to drink every single time you hear the word cult.
here we go.
uh, oh, wait, which reminds me, before we jump into that, aren't you dry January?
I am doing Dry January. I am doing Dry January. I am not drinking any alcohol. So the Unsolicited Podcast Group, I think we talked about it a little bit last week. We're all trying to dedicate and doing Dry January, but also Catherine sent us something interesting. It's like Damp January, or was it Martin? Martin sent it to us, and Catherine has some thoughts. All right, what's your thoughts on Damp January? Because I got some thoughts. I have some feelings.
Yeah, Martin sent it to us first. But I heard about it for the first time this year. Of like, damp January is just cutting back on drinking and like having mindful drinking in January.
Mm,
And I think the point of the article was like, long term, that's healthier and will make more positive changes instead of completely abstaining for the entire month and then just going right back to like binge drinking habits as soon as
yeah,
the month is over.
yeah. So
So,
it's
like,
in. Go
yeah.
ahead. I want you to finish.
No, I was gonna say damp January is like a trend now of just like Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out when the trend happened to like being global, like not global, but like newsworthy is dry January. Because I remember me and Martin started this like probably like post pandemic or like during pandemic 2020. We were doing it just for like health purposes, not even health purposes. We wanted a challenge. You heard about like no nut November, no shave November, like I don't know, like whatever challenges. And then you got dry January. And I was like, just another challenge. Challenge accepted. I only saw it as a challenge. I didn't see it as like this whole thing that's going to change my way or my relationship with drinking because I already dealt with that earlier, which I realized. And that, again, when we talk about unsolicited counseling, we talk about like looking in yourself and seeing and, listening to your inner Taylor Swift. It's not the problem. It's me. What the problem is me? What is what's the lyric?
Oh man, you can't quote Taylor Swift and then mess it up.
All right, you're the resident Taylor Swift Swifty. So go ahead. What's the lyric for that?
It's me. Hey, I'm the problem. It's me.
It's me. Hey, I'm the problem. It's me. And that's how I realized I drank way too much. I ate too many pizzas. I gained like 550 pounds. Just it happened, and I was like, what?
Speaking of, I have a small tangent.
Ooh.
So I told you I took my dog slash best friend, Bodie, to the vet today.
Mm-hmm.
My man gained. Okay, I don't want haters out there because I'll explain in a second. But my man gained 17 pounds this year.
No, no, he didn't.
He did.
Oh no. Does he look like a sausage yet though or no?
No, so to be
Yeah.
fair, a year ago he had lost a dramatic amount of weight
Okay.
because of our like life changes and the effects that that has on dogs. So realistically, he only put on about 7 pounds that were
Oh,
not like intentional, and so he's going on like a baby diet for it. But it was pretty. 17 pounds, you're
that's
packing.
crazy. Look, that's a hefty boy, man. I mean, I got my cousin's dog that was like pure muscle at one point, and then he left because he had kids or whatever, and he left with the mom. Mom didn't take her on walks, whatever, just fed him the dog anything. Became a literal sausage roll because it was small and it was like a short dog, but it was like muscular. It was a pit bull.
Yeah.
And then it just became like this cute sausage roll. And it's like when it moves his body, his whole body, his tail, the whole body shakes. Oh, what
Oh.
a cute dog. Very unhealthy at this point, but yeah, it's very. I see him like your head and your neck are like connected, like to your body. Like your whole body is like a sausage.
Yeah.
Uh,
So, no, Bodhi has a New Year's resolution too now. We gotta lose some pounds in the new year.
get the pounds off. Get the pounds off. But yeah, like I feel like with dry January, back to dry January and stuff, it's like it became this like trend of like, oh, we're gonna be like everyone knows alcohol is bad, so therefore get rid of alcohol. So now it's this challenge and all these articles to help it. If you got a binge drinking problem, I get it. Like I think damp January is fine. Like I think that's a good idea if you're trying to cut down drinking because it's like acknowledging the fact that you drink too much. Like if that's the case, I think it's more power to it. But don't ruin my challenge with all these like, oh, alcohol is horrible for you and blah blah. Look, I know, man. I know breathing is bad. Your heart beating is bad because that's one way you're gonna die. Like I just feel like it's like Martin said this in the comments, and I wish he could comment on it here, but I'll try to get my personal thoughts on it. It is an inclusivity thing. Go ahead. I
No,
like
it's
your Dodon Ray thing. Was that you? You said inclusivity?
no,
Oh, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
no. I just realized that it ties in perfectly to the cult thing because Martin
Exactly,
was saying that like it has to be black or white. There's no gray.
exactly. I love your not your Majin Buu, basically Majin Buu, but your Ginyu Force pose. You don't know the Ginyu Force. We're gonna get you ready because now you're gonna be a nerd just like us eventually. But yeah, it's like very inclusivity, and they talk about just like if it's like this badge of honor of like, oh well, it is weird. It's like either your team drinking or team not drinking. I remember last year when I did dry January and we went out to an event, and I think we're gonna probably do something similar this year. And there's alcohol there, so I was like, well, I'm doing dry January, so I mean, even when I did a diet, I was like, I'm not gonna eat this cookie, and they were like, why? And I was like, I don't want to eat the cookie because it's out of my calories. I'm trying to lose weight. I'm like overweight. And they're like, oh, you're missing out on life, whatever. Anyways, I did dry January because I did it for the challenge sake. And they were like, just give up the challenge. It's stupid. Why would you give up not drinking? It's dumb. And I was like, is this how you feel? Like a grown woman telling me I need to drink? I was like, I can choose to drink or not drink, and I think that's that thing of like this badge of honor of like I'm gonna drink regardless. I don't care how bad it is. Versus like I'm this like person of perfect health. I'm not gonna drink. I'm gonna be vegan. I think everything's great. It's like what happened to great? What happened to just people living their life, existing, doing the things that they? I mean, yeah, probably cigarettes are bad. I don't know. Alcohol is bad too, but it's like if someone's smoking, I'm like, okay, well, I don't like smoking, but I'm not gonna tell them like, hey, stop smoking. Like, you know, it's bad for you. They heard it before. My dad still smokes, and I'm like, bro, you probably should. He's 60 something years old. He gave up, and I'm like, I don't care, bro. You do you. Like, you're a grown man. So it's like this. It's this thing of I don't know. Maybe I'm all based on that one, but with the exclusivity thing, I feel like it's so crazy because with the news, it's exaggerating it, like the news showing like the damp versus dry, or I'm sober but I also smoke weed and do mushrooms, or I am straight edge. It's like these camps, like everyone's going in camps, and I think it's a greater view of what like I don't know the world because we just live in America and I just get American news, and probably the world see America and they're like, I don't know, y'all dumb. I don't know, bro. Tell us in the comments, but it's this broader view, and you can see it on all angles too of our country, where it's like if you're not this camp, you're in that camp. If you're not this camp, it's like these group things versus like why can't we come together and have a balance? Like why does it have to be black and white? Why can't it be? Why it has to be 1 and 0? Because life isn't like that.
Why is it dry or wet? Why can't it be damp?
Perfect example. But that goes into like cult mindsets. Like it's either when we're talking about like so we're talking about cults this episode, and all right, I'm all right. I want to get into this. Go
Okay.
ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna do a little bit of on the fly
Research.
research real quick.
Research.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna start it. So lately, there's been a lot of you guys seen it on Netflix or Hulu or whatever HBO. There's been a lot of documentaries on cults. Twin Flame has been a big modern cult right now, and it's still happening. Nexium with Keith Raniere and Mother of God. I don't know. I think her name's Amy or something like that. These are the most recent cults, but with that, it just shows like, or even like with, or even cult like mindsets of like blocking out things that can be either true or not true. Like when I'm not, no shots at it, but like QAnon, right? Like I mean, whatever shots at, I don't care. Like
Yeah.
QAnon, right? QAnon or cults of personality, like people that like will fall on the sword for certain celebrities and stuff like that, and it's like these teams or like whatever. It's very strange, and when you look at it outside of the actual like cult thing and just seeing like in individual groups of like, oh, I'm a Ye fan. Are you a Ye fan? Or like, are you a Jay Z fan? Or like, it's like these things of like having to, are you Democrat, Republican? Are you liberal, conservative? And it's like these polar opposites on these things. And I want to understand like why. Why is this a uniquely, well, for our case, a uniquely American problem where if you're not like I was talking to one of my like Zoomer friends, and I feel like that's another thing. Like they're like, oh, I don't drink. Drinking's whack, right? Whatever. I don't know. Like drugs are whack. Drinking's whack. And I was like, Okay, that's fine. But it's like this stance on drinking. Like, I'm better than you because I don't drink. And I think that elitism as well is another thing. Is like when it comes to cults and like them saying like, well, I met, like for example with Nexium, because you've seen Nexium documentary. Keith Raniere was all about success. Like, oh, we know the secret. We know how to like get this in whatever. This is a very exclusive club or whatever. And only the tops of the top are in here, so everyone else is last. And it's easy to manipulate. You start to listen to these people and don't even question what's going on or have a thought because you trust them. It's a level of trust that you have in them that you kind of go blind and be like, okay, well, they made me a part of this team. They made me a part. Now I'm a part of the damp squad. I'm not the dry squad anymore. I'm in the damp squad. So if anyone in the dry squad says I'm bad for drinking, where they suck, they're stupid because I'm going to stop binge drinking. They're going to binge drink anyway. While the dry people are like, you lost the challenge.
I just did a little bit of on the fly research. I don't think that drinking or not drinking itself is necessarily a cult.
Mm,
Quick definition: it's a relatively small group that excessively
mm,
controls its members. They share a set of acts and practices that require unwavering devotion.
mm.
They're considered deviant outside the norms of society and typically led by a charismatic and often self appointed leader. It's also an individual group with a relatively small but devoted fan base and supporters.
All right, look, man. I feel like we're gonna lose some listeners for this, or
Uh
people
oh.
subscribers, and like Trump's a cult, bro. Like, I'm sorry, like the actions based on what you're saying, and if you look at like Ruby Ridge, or not Ruby Ridge, but the Branch Davidians, I can't remember the dude name, the Branch Davidians, or I'm really in the cult, so I know, or even Keith Raniere, right? Like Keith Raniere is a frumpy looking dude, bro. Like, but
Right?
he yeah, man. I was like, everyone's like, oh my god, he's so hot, and I was like, look, man, I'm questioning my attractiveness, and I'm like, damn, I look good, and this dude gets some, and I look at me, I'm like, where they at? Where
That's
they at?
the new scale of attractiveness. Are you like cult leader hot or are you just like normal hot?
no, see, the thing is, the cold leader hot is like you got to be the ultimate manipulator, and it's like they know what to say at the
Yeah.
right time. Because I also read about cults is that typically, even though it says like people outside of, like you said, deviants or like whatever, like
Yeah.
outside of it, like those are like probably like people that go to commune, not communes necessarily, but people that like those like outdoorsy, like the quote unquote hippie cults. Not all hippies are cults. Not. Let me get that straight.
Oh
But
boy.
like, no, man, y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm all fun loving. I'm accepting, but it's like either people outside, like you said, either outside the norm, that's one, or people that are highly intelligent too. So that's another thing. Because I was reading a book on cults, and they were like, it doesn't matter your intellect. And it was like, actually, some really smart people tend to get into cults because they're looking for something outside of themselves or something they're seeking. Maybe with Twin Flame Universe is finding their soulmate. These people have PhDs or work like own their own businesses and stuff like that, but all they wanted was love. And then you have like um people with Nexium that were elites, like oh man, I just want to be successful, I want to make more money. So it's this success thing that they wanted to get, and they were able to get them that way. And then with Mother God, it was like, I need spiritual enlightenment because I feel like everything in the world is so dark. They also had college degrees. Some dude had his own business and all that stuff, and it attracted them too. It's like this attraction to fill this hole in your heart, and that's how like I got caught slipping in an MLM. That's a cult. A multi-level marketing is a cult. I got slipped because I was like, I'm poor. I need a job. I need to make money fast, and it's this attraction of like you don't have to do anything, and the money comes to you. And then that's how they leech at you. Luckily, they didn't take too much of my money. But yeah, I think a
Super
good,
interesting.
very interesting.
I'm just thinking more about like the little short that we just did on loneliness and like how we
Hmm.
talked about turning like inward and doing the work on ourselves. But I mean, loneliness is technically an epidemic, and not everyone turns towards therapy or self work, or a lot of people turn towards other things to like feel accepted. And so, with such a polarized society, I think that's why you have this like development of cults that are
Yeah, and I also was reading with cults where,
dangerous.
yeah, it's dangerous. I was reading that cults had a steady rise because this is not a Christian channel because there's Christian cults too. There's a lot of spiritual different cults out there, but they said it was a steady rise in people joining cults because it was the fall of American spiritualism because they were trying to find something outside them because they're like, oh, I'm atheist. I don't believe in God no more. But then that loneliness, they had to make sense of the world. So then they go to, like these cults or Scientology or whatever. Whereas I can give you concrete proof and they just need someone, like you said, charismatic, someone to tell them and make them feel safe. It's all about feeling
Yeah.
safe and belonging because a lot of them become like a family. It's not like these crazy it's gonna be like a sex party or whatever. It's gonna be like people trying to take care of themselves because they felt like the outside world wasn't taking care of them. So they normally prey on people that have low self esteem, or people that have low self esteem tend to go to these Instagram, especially now it's so fully accessible. You could be on a cult on Reddit.
Oh
Like that's
yeah.
how
I'm gonna.
that's how red pill happened. Like the red pill society and black pills and what is it called? Incels.
Yeah.
That's a cult. Like in the lack of better term, it's a group of dudes that are just like everything sucks. We're the greatest, and the only difference is they don't have a leader. Actually, that's interesting.
I'm
If
looking though excessively dedicated to a person or belief system.
okay, yeah, because when you can't see, and I feel like it also is a warp of reality
Yeah.
when people join cults or indoctrinated because it's not these people's fault that they got there. Like they were just vulnerable, and this
Are
person took
there
advantage of them.
Uh, we've been talking a lot about cults in general with like yoga, philosophy, and society too. So super interesting. But like, are there a level of cults of like, obviously all of them are dangerous because it's manipulating you in some way, but like objectively, Twin Flames and Nexium, where you're like getting branded and like,
Yeah, and forcibly transitioning. Have you saw it right?
yeah,
Yeah, that was. But you saw and I'm not an expert in LGBTQ matters, but looking at it and seeing the reach of the people that were interviewed that were a part of the LGBT group, they were like, this is disgusting because they had such control over these people to tell them that you're not what you think you are. And I do think it's levels. I think it's levels because I feel like it always starts out I don't think it ever starts out as I'm gonna help this person. I think some cults that end up being like that. I saw one about this lady that was a pastor, I think in Nashville, Tennessee. She started out as just a pastor for weight loss and she wanted to help people lose weight, right? And then she wanted to branch out because in Nashville, they were like, at the time, they were like, women shouldn't be ministers. So she was like, well, fine, I'm gonna make my own church. And with that, she started making a like a a control system, right? Like unconsciously. It was unconscious, so it wasn't a conscious decision.
yeah,
So I don't know the specific levels, but I know there's levels. There's probably conscious decision out of willing to help people. I mean unconscious decision of willing to help people. Conscious decision, which normally happens if you think of Twin Flames, Keith Raniere, Mother God, probably not so much. I think that was just random. But it starts how can we make money? What can we do as a business? How can we get as much money out of these people? And then how to lock them in. MLM. is a perfect example. That I would say if you have MLM as the foundation, that's the foundation of like what levels of
Wait,
cult.
what's that? I don't know what that is.
MLM is a multi-level marketing business.
Oh, MLM. I see.
So like you think of Amway, you think of Sally Mae, you think not Sally Mae. That's it's a scam regardless. But Mary
Wait, so you
Kay.
mean like selling for an MLM?
Yes, I got caught slipping selling for MLM.
Wait, no way. When?
Yeah, so this happened. I'm surprised I didn't text you. So, this happened probably a year or so outside of college. I was working as a mechanic and front whatever sales associate at a tire shop in Richmond.
Uh-huh.
This lady just randomly came up. She was like, "Oh my God, you're so nice!" Like blah blah blah. Like, hey, you're so smart. What did you go to school for? And I was like, "Oh, I was engineering, right? Like went to physics engineering." She was like, "And you're doing this? You can make so much money, not and never have to work a day in your life anymore." I'm 21, 22. Well, I'm like free money, bet. Like, what I gotta do? Oh, come to my seminar. Come to our seminar and teach you whatever. And I
Uh,
went to the
uh,
seminar. And after the seminar, they called me and then they assigned me to a team. They were like, "Hey, we need if you want to start your money, you gotta have a small donation of money. You gotta pay us $100 to start your website and stuff, and then it's a $25 monthly fee."
what were you
And
selling?
I'm like random ass products. It was called Amway. It was Amway. It was Amway. Yeah. It was random ass products, like just like Walmart stuff you can get from Walmart, whatever. But they were like, "We're green" and all that. Honestly, now looking back, I was like, "Bro, that's fucked up," because it makes sense. That's such an easy way. You be like, "We're gonna pander to what's happening right now." What?
No, nothing.
No, no, go ahead. No, I'm fine with it. I don't care. It's happening in my life. What are we gonna say?
You hadn't heard of Amway before?
Mm-mm. Some people got caught with Cutco. I never know these stuff. Like,
Huh.
so, and one of my barbers, he was caught with Amsoil, and probably to this day, he still sells Amsoil, thinking he'll make a lot of money. And they always have these stories or whatever. Anyways, I feel like that, and it's like these promises and showing you these things of like how you can succeed if you get people on your team and you get them to pay you and all that. And I got caught slipping. I had to like come to Jesus when one of my family members like, "You just gotta get out of there. Like, it's not benefiting you. You're using all the little money you make on these products, buying these products and stuff, and it's not doing anything." So leave. And when I left, let me tell you how many people called me, harassed me to come back. And I was like, and my body was like, "Run, just run." Like, it was like fight or flight, just run.
Witness
And
protection program.
I was like, and I was telling my brother about this after we watched one of the cult videos. And I was like, "Man, this is literally like Amway, but on a bigger scale and on a more psychologically manipulated scale." So MLM or whatever, like sales type thing, I would say that's the base. Then I would say probably religious organizations that are more looking at people as more as like money, like this thing of like, hey, if you can't get to this next level, or if you want to be a deacon, yeah, look up the list for us, because I would love to know.
The list
But
of
this is I'll say mine while you look it up. So I think MLO's based religious organizations that are like whatever that try to sell. Let's you think of like I'll use a perfect example, Scientology, where in order to get up to the ranks, you have to pay more. There's a constant payment, so you're actually feeding the machine, and they're making a lot of money while telling you these things, and that you fully trust them, you're fully willing to give them money. And also, there's a level of control. So, like MLM being at the base level, like I told you, these people are harassing me, calling me. If you leave like Scientology or these religious things after you've been giving them so much money, you're excommunicated. It's like get out of here. You're no longer around.
yeah.
And um, if you decide
Oh, you're
to,
fine. Hi.
um, if you decide to like leave, then it's like consequences and issues and stuff like that. So that's what my take. And then the top, I would say is like the mega cults where they're like isolating. Because with Scientology, it's a form of isolation. That's when isolation starts. And then when these like more niche cults, when it's smaller, it's like you have to be either they handpick you, if they start to see like you will be a problem, they'll kick you out. So it's not opening, it's not welcoming. It's very selective on who they control, and they make sure they take away you and your family and isolate you until and let you know like I am the person for you. I want to like that's my take. What did you find anything about it online or?
Yeah, I did. So, National Institute of Health actually has uh like a one pager flyer of
Mhm.
factors related to accessibility and recruitment by cults. Like it is. It's definitely. I don't know. I feel like I'm discovering something new.
No, that's cool. Like, Catherine will send us a link and we'll put it in the comment below for you guys to take a look.
Yeah.
But did they say like what the levels are to it?
I do not see that. Sorry, guys. We could have done a little bit more research, but this
No,
was more of
I'll
a
just
passion pod.
yeah, this is the passion. If you guys like it, maybe we'll do a part two. I mean, I enjoy it, and we can do a part two to like maybe deprogramming tactics. I find that fascinating. Is like people having to be deprogrammed and brought it back in slowly because the mind manipulation is astounding. Like there's a like I was reading a article on I think it's called Dark Psychology on like how these people, which they could look it up. I'm pretty sure either they Google it or whatever, or they're just sociopaths and just know how to manipulate somebody, which is horrifying. If you're not like, oh, how do I manipulate somebody? Let me Google it. It's like is your innate understanding of the human mind and how to twist it to make it you, which is like true. First, you isolate. You let them know that you make them feel special, like they were not, especially if they have already have low self esteem. Make them feel special. Break them down, and then rebuild them to what you want to be. And it could be financially, it can be um, psychologically, or both. Like if you take all their money away, then all they have is you. They're very dependent on you. If you, which a lot of coaches do, well, Twin Flames is very interesting because they indoctrinate people through their own home, which is actually scary. Is because I can be on, we like guys, we can be, and this is true on because I feel like influencers can turn people into thinking for influence, like because it's like this is my friend. I look at this person for advice, and they're not gonna give me bad advice like this podcast, like us, like y'all listen to us and stuff. Like we're looking out for you guys, but there are people that are trying to like convince you to. As I try to slightly manipulate you guys to join our
A
Patreon.
new unsolicited counseling cult.
That's another big calendar. But yeah, like with the Twin Flame, it was like very interesting how they indoctrinated and isolated these people in their own home. Like they left their own place and found it and got away from their family, hid away from their family, everything, just through the screen before they even got a compound or anything like that, a house. They all through the screen. So very interesting how cults work. I would love to do another episode on this and kind of dig deep and maybe a more cult like a specific cult, and we can kind of dig and see like their tactics and why they did it. I don't know. What do you think, Catherine?
I'm definitely into it because the more I like quickly Google, there are four types of cults: doomsday
Yes.
cults, political cults, religious cults, sex cults. Like,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I feel
Oh,
like
we could do one on each. Yeah, let's do a series.
I kind of like that actually, because I do think, yeah, it's good to talk about like I don't know, how do you avoid cults out there? How do you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, because you mentioned about your yoga stuff, and you guys talk about like how because yoga can be a cult. I'm in martial arts, and martial arts
Yep.
can be a cult. And it's like having that awareness and understanding, because it's this thing, especially when you choose to dedicate time and money and trust to a teacher. Like one of my martial arts teacher told me, he's like, the easiest thing, he's like, the most money, your money is the less valuable thing that you give me. The most valuable thing you give me is your trust. Because you giving me your trust is allowing me to share my information to you. And by you trusting me, you're trusting me that what I'm saying is not going to harm you. And when he told me that, that was huge to me. Honestly, he could be a doctor named me. I don't know. But
Are you
but it's
a cult? Is
I
that
don't know. Are you a cult? But it's like the same thing in yoga or anything spiritual, because it's one of these things that these people come to when they're hurt. Some people come to when they're hurt or need something understanding, and it's up to that teacher to understand that power they have over these people.
yeah.
And I think that is very interesting, and I want to dive into this. Maybe we'll have a yoga martial art cult on one of these episodes and talk about them as well. But guys, let us know what you think. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Like, do you think what do you like more, damp January or dry January? Or you drinking? Like, you like, hey, yo, fuck it. Do you like cults, or want to dive into this? Let us know in the comments below, and please remember to check out our Patreon. And before we sign off, Catherine, do you want to say anything?
No, thank you guys. It has been a while since I've been on, so glad we made it through the holidays. Looking forward to this season, and yeah, Martin, you better be back next time.
Yeah, Martin, you gotta be back. I can't be talking about booty all the time. All right, guys. Please subscribe at our YouTube channel at Unsolicited Counseling Podcast, Unsolicited Counseling, and on Instagram at the same name, and Facebook at the same name as well. Man, we got the same name for everything. And follow us on Spotify at Unsolicited Podcast. And if you have any comments, go to uapodcast at gmail. Uapodcast at gmail.com. So, guys, as always, we love you guys. We're here for you guys. One non-alcoholic drink at a time, one episode at a time. Be easy, y'all.
Lights out.